If you didn't know me when I was younger, and you didn't know me when I was growing up, then you didn't realize how many drugs I did as a kid. You didn't realize how deep I got into that stuff and how much I was doing that stuff. When I was 18 years old, my best friend died in a car accident. He was drinking, he had some friends with him, he was joyriding basically, and he crashed and flew out of the car. And the car ran him over. Then he spent a day and a half roughly in a hospital and died Sunday morning. That friend didn't do a lot of like coke or any of that kind of crazy stuff. He drank a lot. He did acid with us. He did acid by himself. That was the last time I ever seen him. I gave him the acid, and he didn't do like all that crazy shit. He just smoked some weed, drank, did some shrooms with him, acid, that kind of thing. You know what I mean? Well, when he died, I went off the deep end. I was only 18 years old. I lived in a house that was kind of in the woods. There was a lot of drugs floating around that house, kind of thing, right? It was a party house, and I was the youngster. I was the young one, and everybody else was older, so ecstasy was a big thing at the time, so people were loading that in. People had coke, people had fucking Special K, all kinds of stuff showed up in there, because they usually brought the bar home, right? Well, anyways, I did all these drugs because I wanted to erase that pain. I wanted to smother that. I wanted to not feel as hurt anymore. I wanted to not know that my best friend was dead. So when that took place, I started doing drugs at like insane levels and trying all these new things like coke. And instead of going on a list without stopping and explaining, I'm going to explain these drugs to you. And I'm also going to point out to you why Reefer Man was made for me. Why I'm better suited to write it than you are. Why I'm better suited to write it than anyone. So, the Reefer Man comic itself, in the story, in the canon of both the different series, is marijuana is good, hash is good, oil's okay, but it's not good, right? It's unstable. So there's all kinds of different little nods and hints to all kinds of drugs in that series, and if they're bad or not. And every villain in Reefer Man was always based off of a drug that I had done that wasn't like marijuana. It wasn't good for you. So anyways, I had written issue 3 or 4. I remember him reading it one night. He came into the house, and I was upstairs watching Dragon Ball Z. And if you watch Dragon Ball Z during that time frame, you know how I felt. Like he came over. He was only going to be there for a bit. I told him, I said, I can't miss it. I'm sorry. It's only on Friday nights. You only get like 15 minutes of an episode. Then I got to wait till next Friday. If I miss it, it makes no sense. Then I got to wait for the whole series to run around again, which it keeps doing. And I'm trying to watch that fucking show. It took me 20 years to watch that fucking show. It's insane. I was in fucking high school when I was in middle school when I started watching it, and it took me till I was an adult before I ended up finishing, because it was in the Majin Buu saga during that time, and it still didn't finish till a little while after. Anyways, so I went upstairs and I watched the show. I left him downstairs reading my comics and stuff, and he ended up leaving at the end of the episode or whatever, and I always felt disappointed that I didn't hang out with him and that kind of thing. However, anyways, not to get lost in the reminiscing and stories and things, the point of this video is to point out things to you, because you're stupid. You are. You are unknown into this. You don't have knowledge, and you pretend like you have tons. People sit back here. They come in here continuously like they're some kind of drug expert. Okay, so we're going to load out some information so that you're not as brain dead. I'm me. You're not. I drank as a fucking teenager. I was a teenage alcoholic. When I was 18, I became a real alcoholic. Like down in the bottle like a motherfucker. I was doing all those drugs. And we'll come to cocaine, and I'll stop at each one. So I started doing coke because it was there. People were offering it to me. They felt bad for me. I was the kid. You know what I mean? Like I was the younger one, and they felt bad. It's like his fucking friend died. That's fucked up, right? And so anyways, people were loading me lines and doing up bowls of it for me to smoke and stuff. And I was willing to try anything. I didn't care. It's like, is this going to take my mind off this? Then I'm in, right? Well, anyways, cocaine doesn't do anything. It doesn't. It's annoying. It's very annoying. It's like, here's this overpriced pile of garbage where all you want to do is keep doing it. Oh yeah, by the way, your dick's soft unless you really fucking work on it. Why would you ever want that? Oh, it makes me feel good. Yeah, no, like for 5 seconds, and that's really all it does. You smoke it the once. There's no point in ever smoking it again because you're just chasing the dragon. You're chasing that feeling, and you always chase that feeling. Snorting it is just fucking irrelevant. You get the drips and everything, and it's fucking like, it's just gross. And it's like, it makes you a little bit more energetic, but who the fuck wants more energy? Grab this. This will give you enough. If you're not big on coffee, and you're like, well, it's really bad for you, well, you probably shouldn't be doing cocaine, though. Just saying. When I was younger, around that same time, a guy that my dad lived with when I was about 8, who taught me all the blood codes and all the fucking fatalities for the Sega Genesis, because he had Mortal Kombat on the Sega Genesis. He was found in a car on the Princess Margaret Bridge, and his heart had exploded from smoking coke. His name was Eric Hoyt. So yeah, you won't get me to say nice things about that drug, because it didn't do anything, and it's way too overpriced, and the idiots who fucking smoke it and the idiots who fucking constantly cling to it have no lives. I know because I've met tons of them. Anyways, I never did make a cocaine villain in the original Reefer Man. There is in the Return to Reeferland series. There's many characters based off of cocaine and speed. There's Speedo. That's the one that's made of speed. He mocks the Vulture from Spider-Man. You have, or is like every villain in Reefer Man is based off of, it's like a parody of an actual villain from Batman or Spider-Man or that kind of thing, right? Anyways, Speedball is, that's Coke and Speed or whatever the fuck it was. I can't remember. 8-Ball. I think he's called 8-Ball or something. I don't fucking know. Anyways, who is the Coke one? Oh yeah, Cokie Blowman. Yeah, Cokie Blowman. His eyes are like this, and his fucking nostrils are like this, and he's in the first issue of Reefer Man, or Return to Reeferland. Anyways, that's Coke. It's no good for you. It's way overpriced. You pay $100 a gram as opposed to like $5 for a gram of weed, and you literally do nothing other than snort a little bit. Oh, so you can drink a little bit more. Maybe just don't drink so fucking fast, idiot. Or you smoke it a whole bunch, and then you destroy your lungs. And my friend Billy spent $100,000 smoking it one weekend because his girlfriend left him and he's really depressed. We're not friends anymore. We haven't been friends since. He stopped being my friend. He stopped caring. He stopped fucking talking to me and everything because of this. I was there. I was there on Saturday, I think, when he had already smoked like 50,000 worth. Yeah, he was fucked. He was laying on the couch. He wouldn't do anything. That's not drugs. And can you stop insulting real drug addicts with your fucking garbage? Yeah, like, well, real drug doers, I guess, drug users. Anyways, during that same time I did Special K. Special K is the sporadic mess of a drug, where you do it for you do it, and first 10 minutes you feel like you can fly, the next 10 minutes you fucking just feel so relaxed, and then the next 10 minutes you come off it and you're fine. It's like, fuck. Most unstable fucking buzz I've ever had. Only did it the once. I'm not interested in ever doing it again. I wouldn't recommend doing it. There is a Reefer Man villain, of course. That's the Special K. That's his name. He's got a great big K on his chest. He's a superhero. It's bad. Anyway, and doesn't realize. Anyways, let's think of another one that I did during acid. I did acid during that time. A lot of acid. Acid was my favorite drug. I loved acid. 14 hours of cigarette cherries being yellow and the fucking world being fucked and whatever you wanted it to be. You could literally do anything you wanted to, and you could, and you were amazing at it. You weren't, but you could while you were there, right? Like that long lost friend that never came home, and they just came home, and it's like, and you're so excited to see them, but wait a minute, you didn't have that friend. There was no long lost friend. Who the fuck are you, right? And there's no one there. That's acid. So I really like that one, but it's still quite bad. Not the kind of drug you want to be doing. However, that's more of a hallucinogenic, so you do get nice and fucked up on that one. Special K definitely does something, but not something you want it to do. And of course, Acid Man was in the original series, and he's also in the Return to Reeferland at some point once it gets going. What else did I do during? Well, alcohol. Alcohol's another thing. I drank that as a teenager, and alcohol makes you stupid. That's just what it does. You get stupid. It kills your brain cells. It makes you stupid, and you kind of alcohol kind of fucks you up just enough that you become lazy and stupid. That's it. You kind of stand there and stare at the wall, and it's like, well, I better take another drink. And it's like they figure things out. Oh, well, they better take another. And that's just the way it is. There was a drunk in here one time, and I read him like a book, and he's like, how the fuck? It's just the way it is. Yeah, the wino is the that character in Reefer Man. Yeah, he's just a drunk. He's always passed out. Fucking irrelevant, right? What other drugs? Shrooms. Yeah, shrooms. I was never big on shrooms. I did them. They were similar to acid, only they gave you gut rot. And it was like, and it was usually a darker thing too. It was always like morbid and fucking bodies crawling into washing machines and shit. Like decaying corpses and fucking dark and Halloween, like Hellraiser, evil horror movie kind of esque feels every single time I did it. So it's just like, and then they got rot. I was never a big fan of shrooms whatsoever. I know plenty of people who like them and are right in there and they've never done acid, or people who are like those instead of acid. There's always seemed to be this thing, you either liked one or the other and you didn't like both. Most people I met. Anyways, I did do shrooms with a friend of mine that died, and he actually that night was pretty good. It was still fucked. It was a fucked up night, but the trip wasn't bad. And the only time I did shrooms that I actually didn't have a bad trip or didn't feel all that dark shit, I was in my apartment alone. My roommate, she had these shrooms. She didn't want them, and she's just like, here, you can have them if you want. I was like, cool. It was like 4 grams of shrooms or whatever, so I ate them all. And I had my turntable, and I just got my dad's albums recently and just got the turntable, so I hadn't really listened to everything he had. So I'm going through them and I'm picking a new one, and I'm like, okay. So I pull out Chicago's Greatest Hits, and I'd never heard Chicago. I didn't have anything idea of what they sounded like. The only thing I knew at that point was what the Little Nicky movie had said about them. They played it backwards and it said the devil shit or whatever. I really had no idea what it sounded like. And I will say this, Peter Cetera's music is garbage in comparison to the stuff with Terry Kath. When you have Terry Kath, the guitarist that killed himself, that band's fucking awesome. So, minus him, the band's all cheesy and fucking garbage. But the Greatest Hits has 25 or 6 to 4, Color My World, all these fucking amazing songs on it. And fucking I start playing this. Holy fucking shit. I had it in headphones too. It was amazing. I couldn't believe it. I was like, holy fuck, these guys can play. I had no idea what they sounded like, right? And then Dad walked in like 10 minutes later and fucking Buzz was gone. And yeah. So anyways, yeah, that was that. So that's the only time I've ever actually enjoyed those. Thanks, Dad. No, no, I'm just kidding. But anyways, what other ones are there? Well, speed. When I moved to Moncton, I was taking graphic design, and I was living in Moncton. And one day after school, I left school and I walked to Crystal Palace in Dieppe. And Crystal Palace, for those who don't know and haven't been to Moncton, is like this giant arcade / amusement park inside. And it's not giant, I guess. It's only got a few rides or whatever, and it's got a bunch of arcades. It's attached to Chapters and a theater now, and was when I went there. So I went and walked all the way down there, and I watched G.I. Joe in the theater, and then I watched 9 in the theater, the movie about the puppet thing, robot puppet or whatever. And they're both decent movies. I had a good time, and then I went outside of there, and I took a hit of speed, and I was a big weird pill, and fucking jumped on the swings, and put headphones on, and just listening to music the whole time, and spun around in the swings, like the swings that go up in the air, right? Where you're on your side and it swings you around. And I just kept going like this every time the guy slowed down, so he'd start again because there was no one else in there. And I did that for hours. Now, speed will give you lots of energy, I guess, but I didn't really call that a high, because it's not. It's not really a high. It's not like acid. It's not like shrooms. It doesn't fuck your head up. It doesn't give you something going there. And you see, there was like this weaker version, 2CI they were calling it. Yeah, it's like pill form acid. I did those. They were okay, but they weren't acid. Now, ecstasy, though. Ecstasy was a big one when I lived in that house. There was lots of ecstasy that floated through there. And, of course, a couple of people living there. One of the guys was a DJ or whatever, so they were big on that. And it was all this techno music and shit. And, of course, I never knew anything about that kind of stuff. So they were digging right into that kind of thing. And ecstasy was free for me. I was the guinea pig. I was a kid. I was like 16, 17 or whatever. So they'd walk in, they'd have the bag, they brought back, and they'd fucking rip it open and fucking throw me one in their great big bag and say, is it any good or not? It's like, let me know. So I'd go and do it. Yeah, I did a lot of ecstasy. Now, ecstasy is like weak acid or weak shrooms. It's like higher drunk without the dizziness. It makes you kind of dumb and makes you soft and fluffy. That's what it does. It makes you all kind of fuzzy and everything's happy. Everything's a pillow. You want to basically hug everything. You want to be happy, fuzzy, fucking like a room full of pillows. You just want to roll around in it. Yeah, basically. That's ecstasy. They started lacing them with all kinds of different things, so it depended on which one you took. I didn't know it was the Silk Road. I had no idea, but a friend of mine actually in the house showed me the Silk Road and showed me this big list of all the different ecstasy and what was in them and what they did. I was like, holy shit. I didn't know what it was at the time. I was only like 17 or whatever, and I was like, wow, there's actually a list. So anyways, he says to me one night, he's like, Evan, I got the whole fucking rainbow in me. I was I'll never forget that. It was so fucking funny because he had taken like one of every different color of what was around or whatever, right? And there's tons. The bar came to that house every night, basically. So, I mean, it was always packed in there. Anyways, so I did other ecstasy years later that I got from a friend, and it was Transformer ecstasy, and it was Autobot logos. And it turns out they were laced with heroin, and I had no idea. I didn't know, but I guarantee you they were because I did them all. And I bought a whole bunch. I was supposed to deal them, and I can't deal. I've never dealt my entire life. I've always done the stuff that I can't help it, right? Especially back then. Anyways, this was still in the time frame before I quit drinking as well. And before I quit drinking, I was a drug addict and a drunk and everything else. And if it was after I was 18, then yeah, I was depressed as fuck all the time because my buddy was dead. So apologies and shit, right? But things were fucked. There are circumstances as to why I was this way. So anyways, turns out they were laced with heroin and I was doing them. Well, I'd always puke before I got high off them. That's a heroin thing. That's the only time I've ever done heroin. I've never shot anything in my arms or any of that. I never did that stuff. But heroin was laced in these. I puked before getting off on them. That was the thing about heroin. You always puke before you get off. The character in... Oh, sorry, I forgot. In Reefer Man, there's ecstasy. Yeah, ecstasy is the ecstasy one. I won't get into it, but it's a really cool issue. That's in Return to Reeferland. And then there is the heroin. I mean, come on, it's right there, right? It's just... but yeah, the heroin is... she always pukes and shit. I won't get into it. It's Tupac, same as ecstasy. But anyways, there are characters in Return to Reeferland for every drug. 2CI, no. That just wasn't enough of a drug or didn't really have a big enough impact for me to call it its own thing. Salvia, people went on about this a lot, just on a side note, is fucking stupid. We did it. Me and my friend, we were like, oh, we gotta try it because everybody's going on. And he was right into the hallucinogenics like I was. I was like, oh, we gotta try it or whatever. And we smoked it, and I sat there for half an hour feeling absolutely nothing and seen a weird, like, crab-like claw thing come out of a lamp for a second. And that was it. So yeah, I don't really have any nice things to say about that one. There is Salvia Man, and he's like the fake Reefer Man. I don't know if you ever watched Darkwing Duck, but there was like an alternate Darkwing Duck. He was like a bad guy. He wore like yellow and black. Same concept for Salvia Man. Anyways, he's like the fake Reefer Man. Because I never liked this stuff, and people always went on their ridiculousness, and I was just like, do some fucking acid, you weirdo. So anyways, yeah, so ecstasy, yeah, I did lots of ecstasy. None of these are any good, by the way. None of these drugs are good for you. Ecstasy will drain you of your endorphins and your serotonin. So you won't be able to be happy. You just won't. That's impossible. You just can't be happy because it ate all that juice. You're fucked. You're like a vampire seeking it or something. Anyways, I was living in that house and a guy came in one time. And the guy was a friend of my roommate. And he was in the military. Seemed like a pretty friendly guy. He had a good attitude. He wasn't like a military, like, strict dickhead or anything. He was just, he happened to be in the military and he happened to be a good guy. He was quite friendly and quite, like, welcoming and shit to be around, right? He'd be like, hey man, how you doing, kind of thing. Very, very friendly guy. So he was on meth. That's what they told me. I never heard of meth. I was like, okay, I never seen that one. It's like coming up because I was digging for all of them at the point, right? And I'd never heard of that one. And they said he was on meth, and then my roommate did. He was hanging around doing his thing or whatever, and he'd said that he'd been up for a couple of days, and I was like, holy shit, really? It's like I never heard of anybody that did that other than me, because I continuously drank coffee and insomniac and stuff due to night terrors and shit, right? So anyways, year or two went by. I got out of the house. I started living with my dad downtown, and I came across him one time downtown, and he had been booted out of the military, and he was sitting down by King's Place or Victory, somewhere around there, and it was around Victory, and he was wearing his army shit, and he was fucked. He was gone, just lost, gone. Nothing there. Wasn't the same person at all. He was all sketchy and fucking back and forth, and this was my first instance of knowing what meth was, and I really had no idea. I didn't do it, so I never knew. It was only if I did it. So a couple of years went by after that, and I bought some ecstasy from a guy, and it was called a red key, and a red key was laced with crystal meth. Now, I did this red key around my friends, a couple of friends of mine, and I hung around with them for a little bit, and then I left to go get more because it was amazing. I was like, fuck, I gotta get more of this, right? Well, there was this dorky kind of guy that was, I considered him a friend, but he was really annoying. He was, oh my god, he was so fucking annoying. Like a Melvin, right? Like he was like a stickler about everything, whatever. But he was a nice kid. He was all right. Well, I went into this place where I used to work and was looking for this guy, killing time because he lived close to there, to try and get some more and see if he knew how to get more, right? Well, anyways, during that time, this youngster came in, and he didn't mean it, but he gave me a little bit of attitude. And he was doing his whole like Poindexter thing. That's annoying, right? Well, I put the fucker up against the wall. That is not who I am. I don't put people up against the wall. Like I took his shirt and fucking physically put him up against the wall and like started getting threatening with him. And that's not me. I don't do that to people. So I ended up not getting it, and I'm very glad I didn't get it, because that's my only instance of doing said drug, and I hated it because I felt so fucking bad. I couldn't believe how bad I felt. The poor fucking guy. Like he's a nice guy, right? Like he's really fucking annoying. A lot of people can't stand him because of it, but I liked him. He was a nice kid. He didn't mean any harm to anything, so fuck, I felt bad about that. Anyways, that's the only time I ever did the drug. Now, I've done Molly as well. That was a new one. That came along after my time, after I quit drinking. And I've done that because people had it, and they said it was like ecstasy. And I loved ecstasy. I was obsessed with it. It was great. It was like doing acid without being fucked forever, right? It was like doing acid without fucking going 3 days completely insane. It was only a couple hours and then it was gone. So it was like, I was really into it. And I came across this Molly stuff that they claimed was the same. It's not. Molly's laced with meth. It's like a mixture of the two. And it's powder. What the fuck is it powder? Press pills, you stupid fucks. If you can't proportion it properly, like, how are you supposed to regulate it? Like, you fucking idiots that run drugs post me quitting drinking don't know what you're doing, because you fucked it up miserably. And that's what this is about. Because I'm kind of sick and tired of people bashing drug addicts when that's not a fucking drug addict. Well, I guess those are drug addicts. What do you call the people who did drugs that aren't fucked? That just enjoyed them, right? That didn't ruin their lives on them. Because I didn't. I did a bunch of fucking acid. It expanded my fucking mind. Now my shit's creative. More creative than it was. I'm expanded. More unique. Anyways. So, I've always been against coke. I've always been like, it's fake, it's stupid, it's a waste of fucking money. Some people get mad about this. Go fuck yourself. You're garbage and you're stealing people's money. You straight up are. Marijuana is good for you. I never mentioned marijuana, right? But yeah, I've smoked weed since I was 14 years old. Weed's good for you. I said that since I was 14 years old. There was all kinds of people who discriminated against me because I smoked weed, and it's like, oh, you're a fucking idiot, and blah, 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 blah. Right? Well, look at the fucking studies now, huh? Yeah, well, they had those studies back then, too. The government just hid them from you. And I knew this shit. I knew why they illegalized it. I knew all that shit at 14. And I was like, you know what? My dad did it. My dad's pretty fucking wicked guitarist, so it can't be that bad, right? Well, anyways, I was right, and they were wrong, which is ridiculous. Hash is okay, too. Definitely. Oil is... To make oil, you kind of have to taint marijuana. That's why the greaser exists. And that's why he's unstable. That's why he's not a good guy. Because you have to use butane and all these other things to create it. And that's... You're not going to get a good fucking thing doing that. You can create natural hash, like they call it finger hash or whatever, but you can create actual hash without using any kind of fucking chemicals or anything. You just literally save all that crystal and press it together. You're good to go, right? And that crystal came from that marijuana. You want to be natural, or do you want to be a piece of shit, right? Do you want to be all fucked in the head? The other ones probably won't fuck you in the head as bad as these ones will. But anyways, this Molly shit's garbage. I did it, and it's like the same fucking bullshit as Coke. Harder to get your dick hard, fucking, you're all fucked. All you want to do is more of that. And it's like, your head goes crazy. So it's like, no, I threw it out. I actually threw it in the garbage. The rest of it, I was just like, I don't even want this. This is stupid. I wanted ecstasy. What the fuck? So, anyways, then somebody comes across and brings me MDMA, the pure MDMA. Well, I did that for a while, and that's okay, but still can't regulate it because it's fucking powder type stuff, right? Everything's fucking all that shit. And it's like, where are the fucking pills? Where are the pressed fucking pills? You could just take one of them and go to fucking look at colorful lights and bang a chick. What the fuck? You fucked the world up badly. Like, you used to be able to dance around to fucking shitty fucking techno and wear fucking neon and have a good time, you know? And it was a really good time. And you only took one of these and it wasn't going to kill you. It was just going to make you a bit of a prick in the morning. Anyways, yeah, not a fan. Molly's a character as well, by the way. So, I've been working here for 8 years now. And this is post all this shit. I don't do that anymore. So I see lots of people come around with drugs and things. And meth is a big one. Meth is a real big one. And I remember my friend Joe. I remember him well, before he was all fucking retarded. I remember how fucking bright he was. I remember how nice he was. I remember how fucking inspirational in a sense, because he'd come in, he'd make you happy no matter what your day was doing. He'd be like, hey man, all excited, right? I remember that. I also remember him afterwards, after the meth, and what it did to him, and seeing him fall basically the fuck apart. So, and lose his life. Like all of his stuff, everything. His house, and you name it, he lost everything. I remember how my other friend ruined his life on coke and spent his whole life savings on that crap. And it doesn't do anything. Don't call it yourself a fucking drug addict if that's what you do. Because I'm gonna fucking have issues. Because you're insulting people who were into hallucinogenics and made their mind better. My friend Tyler that I talked about on here, that I apologized to. Yeah, he's probably on meth now, but he used to be big on hallucinogenics. He used to be big on acid and stuff. He was extremely creative. Anyways. Fucking sad. So, the meth heads come in here all the time. They're straggling, they're fucked up, they fucking try and do evil shit. It's not fucking right. And their brain pathways break. Their neural pathways break down. So you can't put things together anymore or make any sense. I had a guy trying to justify pedophilia to me the other night in here. He was standing right here going on. He claimed he was a whole bunch of nonsense from the Bible. Then he's going on about pedophilia. And then he's trying to explain to me that it's justified. And he was on meth. I seen another guy a few nights ago, and he's just fucking fucked. And he can barely stand up. Straggling for dollars, has to squeeze fucking dimes out of people just so he can get a little bit of a fix of that shit underneath your cupboard. I don't care how fucking cool you think Tim Wadley is as a fucking actor. He's Jerry Seinfeld's dentist. And he made a show that popularized that shit, so fuck him. Straight up. Cranston, that's his, no, your name's Tim Wadley. You were Seinfeld's dentist. That's who you were. That's your fucking big sign. If you were in fucking Seinfeld, that's who you are. Sorry, that show's bigger than you are, and will always be. Especially when your show's about fucking meth, for fuck's sakes, and popularizes the garbage. It's an insult to drugs. It is an insult to people who do drugs, even to the people who do coke, for fuck's sakes. At least their brain isn't falling apart. No, they're just fucking wallets falling apart. And their fucking lungs, because they keep spending it to fucking smoke more. They just want to do more of that. They don't want to fucking roam around at a fucking hotel in the middle of the night and pretend the fucking God's coming out of the fucking moon or whatever the fuck. Meth is not a drug. If you have meth in your town, get fucking rid of it. This is Canadian soil. I don't want that shit on Canadian soil anymore. You want to know where Justin Trudeau gets his ideas? He probably smokes meth. You want to know why the left is so fucking crazy? They probably smoke meth. You want to know why some extreme rightists are so fucking racist? They probably smoke meth. I did acid, smoked weed, and did ecstasy a lot. What did I end up doing? Where did I go? Where did my neural pathways go? Okay, well, you became a little strange. Yeah, you say things a little silly, you're a little sporadic. Tree wigs and all this fucking nonsense in your silly videos, right? Oh yeah, and you wrote comics that aren't great. Did you believe pedophilia was okay? Did you believe that fucking everybody's evil because of their political stance? Did you believe men are evil because they don't want to sleep with women that have dicks? I don't know. You tell me. I did more drugs than you do. Or that you did. I know I did. I did fucking like over 100 hits of acid. So yeah, I did a lot of fucking acid. I did a lot of drugs. And I lived in a drug house for 3 years. So I mean, I'm Dad's kid. Right? I'm me. Ask anybody who grew up with me how fucked up I was. I was always doing drugs. And it's like, and I was an alcoholic as a teenager. What the fuck is wrong with you? You want to explain? How am I not more fucked than you? How are you so fucking crazy? I'll tell you how. You did the drug I didn't do. Because I didn't do that drug. Once. Only once. And put a friend of mine up against the wall, and I said, that drug's fucking evil. I'm not touching that one. No, don't want no more red keys. Give me something that's laced with MDMA or something. Yeah, not fucking crystal meth. Because, nope, that's a bad one. And that was in 2008. Yeah, I did that hit in 2008. And that was the second instance of me ever hearing of the drug. Yeah, so that's 15 years ago. So no, I don't do that one. Why do you? You have the guy who did all the fucking drugs, made a fucking comic book that explains what they all do to you, when all satirical and superhero concept. Why are you doing that one? Her name's Methany, by the way, the character on that one. She's fucked. Super liberal, fucking just right out to lunch, fucking gone. Nothing against the left or the right. I don't believe in politics. I believe in a monarchy. You think I'm crazy or whatever, England worked. You don't. You're a fucking mess. Democracy is a mess. When it's not real, I don't believe in it. When it's real, a real democracy where the vote actually matters and they don't fucking let Biden in, the fucking guy who likes to sniff kids' hair, and they don't let fucking Trudy in again when there's no fucking way in hell they voted for him. And it's like, well, it's a matter of votes. No, it's a matter of Ontario and Quebec. That's what it is. Ontario and Quebec have more fucking seats than the rest of us. So the rest of Canada has to suffer listening to those fucking wannabe Americans. Because that's basically what they are. They're too close to the States. The Maritimes is too fucking secluded for you to not be Canadian. Out here is too Western for you to, and secluded for you to not end up being Canadian. That's just the way it is. And then you have Ontario and Quebec, which are giant fucking metropolises, where for some fucked up reason they think it's okay to grope women by their vagina without their permission. Which is exactly what this guy did. He physically did this. Yeah, you hated Donald Trump for saying it. Why the hell don't you hate this guy? He actually did it. You hated Donald Trump for being a racist. There's no evidence of him being a racist. There was a black fucking apprentice. The first apprentice was black. He hired his daughter over his son because his daughter's better at the fucking job. So he's not sexist. And he also stood up for trans people in 2010 before anyone did. So you want to cut your bullshit when you got Trudy wearing blackface, which is fucking racist. You got him fucking doing all this other shit, doing all the things Trump said he would do, or the things you accused Trump of doing. Trudy actually did them. You want to explain why he's still in office? Cut your fucking shit. Throw the meth in the garbage. Stop eating Tide Pods. Stop making drugs out from underneath your kitchen sink or bathroom sink or whatever, and start doing real drugs like I did. You might expand your mind. Or just don't do drugs at all, because I don't anymore. I mean, smoke weed, of course. I smoke weed, and I fucking smoke cigarettes. I drink that, and once in a blue moon I drink. I have relapses continuously on the alcohol thing, but they don't get that bad anymore. It's usually like 1 or 2 drinks, and I get a little silly and go to bed. Yeah, so it's nothing like that. I don't do any of the drugs that I used to do. I know I've gone at length and it's a half an hour, but this was like this big PSA kind of like let you know about drugs kind of thing, because you might be sitting back thinking, well, what's Evan know about drugs? Why should he be writing Reefer Man? I didn't even go over all of them. No, there's plenty of other drugs. They're still bad. It's not marijuana. It's not fucking hash. It's bad. Caffeine's bad. Cigarettes are bad. All that shit's bad. I mean, even marijuana, smoking it's bad for you, but bad for your lungs, right? And if you go for the CBD stuff, CBDN is what they called it before the government jumped in. But yeah, if you go for that kind of stuff, that's the medicinal side of things, which actually will help you and stuff. There's a guy in Nova Scotia from Nova Scotia, that went to Amsterdam in about probably 5 or 6 years before Trudy got in. He proved that hash oil can help you with arthritis and shit like that. And they wouldn't let him back in Nova Scotia. It was ridiculous. It was in the paper. I remember. Anyways, yeah. Don't do drugs. And really don't do meth. And if you want to make the world a better place, get rid of meth. Get rid of the meth clinics, that's for fucking sure. I was gonna find them and burn them, but I mean that's gonna hurt normal people too, right? So they're trying to help. They don't know what they're fucking doing, but they're trying to help, so I can't really hold them responsible. Yeah, so cut the shit. Get rid of the meth. It's not good. It breaks down your neural pathways where you start adding things together that don't make any sense. And you start thinking you make sense. You think there's things that are there that aren't. You think you're talking to spirits. There's all kinds of crazy shit I've seen these fucking idiots do. Fentanyl, by the way, is not a drug, and fentanyl will have no place in my comics whatsoever. Fentanyl is poison and a cancer to my society, the same as meth is. But meth is easier to get and regulated, because a lot of people can do it for a long period of time before they fuck their brain up. But I wouldn't recommend it. It's a bad fucking drug. They're all bad. If you really need to get fucked up, take some acid. Acid will fuck you up worse than anything else will. And 14 hours later, you're back to normal. You don't do it every day, though. No, you do it once in the fucking blue moon. Like once a year, maybe once every 3 or 4 years, once or twice fucking a year kind of thing. You never do acid more than once a day. You can't get high off it because you're still high. So there's no point. But anyways, yeah. Get rid of meth. Please. It's fucking gross. It is fucking disgusting how people treat people and how people act and how inconsistent they are, how sketchy they are, how they lose all the sense of morality, how they lose all sense of sense. Like, no. I did plenty of fucking drugs, and I did tons of them, and I was known for being the kind of guy that got everybody weed. A friend of mine sent me a message Canada Day 2015 asking me if I had any weed, because he couldn't find any. And I said, no, check Dad. Dad'll probably help you out. So, Canada Day 2016, same fucking response. No, sorry, man, still in Calgary. Yeah. So, I used to be known for that. I was known for being able to get drugs and weed and all these things. And I was known for doing all these things. I may have quit smoking weed 5 years into being here and didn't start again until after it was legalized. But, yeah, don't do meth. If you do any drugs in life, kids, or whoever's watching this, don't do that one. That one was poison. I knew that one was poison way back when, and I wouldn't touch it. Cocaine's fake. It just is. It'll eat your wallet. It really doesn't fucking do anything. People it could say it's a sex drug. It's not. You want a drug that you can have sex on for like literally forever? It's called ecstasy. That's the one. Bring it back. Let's all fuck again and have fun. Let's stop pretending that men and women need to be at odds with each other, or that gays are evil, or that for some reason 30 years later you got to be racist against blacks again. Like, can we just throw all that shit out of the way and start taking fucking ecstasy again and just bounce around to fucking techno music and colorful lights, neon? Can't we just do that again? I mean, yeah, people were cuddly and stupid, but it's fucking a hell of a lot better than their neural pathways being broken down and them sitting on a bus stop being like, yeah, man, the government's out to get me. I imagine they are. No one fucking knows who you are, you fucking retard. No one cares who you are. You're roaming the fucking streets. Your family probably abandoned you because you make no fucking sense. You probably don't even remember who they are. You probably think they're the fucking squirrels living in that tree. It's depressing. Please get rid of this drug off my continent. At least out of my country. I don't want it here. And if it persists, you know I'm a prick. You know I'll go fucking psychotic. You know that I will go completely off the fucking deep end to protect something. You know that I will fucking do whatever it takes to show you what the fuck I'm talking about. So do your best to get rid of this drug. It's fucking evil, and it's killing my people, and it's fucking them over. It's fucking over the decent citizens who are just trying to go about their day. All these encampments where people were smoking on fucking trains that people have to go on. They were smoking in fucking bus stations and shit where people have to sit. Does that old fucker who spent his whole life working his ass off making shoes or fucking selling cars or whatever the fuck he did, where he's got a family and he's not that bad a guy, he's not fucking sane or anything, he's just a normal fucking guy, and he's black too, by the way, for all those fucking minority pushing fucking pieces of shit. Fuck you. It doesn't matter what color he is, you fucking racist. So anyways, this old man who worked his whole fucking life, he's standing at the fucking bus stop, and he's got to sniff in this fucking idiot and listen to all the fucking bullshit that makes no sense in their fucking head. And them telling him he's got to believe in God. When they don't believe in God. Because you spit on your own fucking God, even if you did. You were given life. Why are you chucking it away? You were given a brain. Why are you pissing on it? Anyways, I love yous, and if you see people doing meth, rat them the fuck out. Straight up. That's not a drug. That's evil. You want to do acid, you want to do ecstasy, you want to do a bit of coke or something, you're not going to end the world. These fucking meth heads and fentanyl pieces of shit are ruining the fucking world and killing themselves. People don't need to, a kid doesn't need to walk down the street and see some fucking tweaker fucking ODing on the side of the fucking lawn. Do you not care about the fucking kids that are growing up? Show them something that isn't garbage, please. Teach them what good drugs are. The ones that won't fucking kill them that they can have once in a while after they fucking work their ass off. Like a fucking beer, right? With their buddies. A few shots. Maybe a fucking great big joint or something. Here, take a handful of shrooms and have a good night, kind of thing, right? It's not going to kill you. It's just going to make you a little sick and you're going to see some crazy shit. Not, here, do this drug that's going to eat your brain that you can never fucking fix yourself from. My best friend's fucking little brother is fucking fucked. His brain's gone because he did this shit. He did it too much and he will never be the same. That's fucking disgusting. Start caring about my fucking people. Start caring about your fucking people. Start caring about me and start caring about you. Enough is enough. COVID. COVID was created by fucking meth heads. Sitting back fucking high as a fucking kite being like, yeah, the world's coming to an end because of a fucking flu again, even though our species has gone through this every 1,000 years we've been around. Or 100 years, sorry. Every 100 years this happens. And even the religious people believe we've been here for 2,000 years or some nonsense, so that would be like 20 different times we've survived it. I'm not sorry I was mad at you. I'm not. You deserved it. What the fuck are you doing? I'm a fucking recovered drug addict. I'm never supposed to mean anything to anyone in life. I'm just supposed to possibly get my life together and maybe contribute. It stresses me out a lot how obsessed these people are with this fucking garbage. Because it's not drugs and it's a complete insult to what I did. And my friends. So, yeah. Anyways, this is your PSA by me. I know it's a little fucking diplomatic. I'm not just like, don't do drugs, crack the eggs and shit, right? No, smoke weed if you want to smoke weed. Drink if you want to drink. I have a lot of friends who smoke weed and drink, and there's nothing wrong with any of them. When they drink too much, they act stupid like my friend Sean and get the cops called on them. That's about it. And he never actually hurts anything. He just gets drunk and acts silly. And when you smoke weed, all you do is eat a bit more. And think a bit. So, you do what I do. Drink a bunch of coffee and smoke cigarettes all the time, and then you're just pissed off at things and productive. Yeah, don't do meth. It's poison. I'm not kidding. I'm dead serious about meth. If I see a person, and this is my new rule, if I see you on meth, I'm calling the cops. And if the cops don't do anything about you, I'm doing something about you, because I don't want you on the fucking streets, because there's kids on those fucking streets. And they need you to encourage them. I'm not talking little kids. I'm talking 16-year-olds that you're fucking up and getting onto these fucking drugs and fucking their lives over early. You think the fucking millennials were fucking fucked? How bad's Generation Z gonna be if you're not even trying to fucking help the teenagers that are fucking lost, that have shit parents, right? There were people who helped me. My parents were good too. But I had people trying to help me when I was a fucking teenager just the same. Why the fuck aren't you trying to help them? You got these idiots fucking feeding them drugs that are going to ruin their mind before they even get there. Get rid of this fucking scum. We need the organized drug dealers back. The ones who wouldn't sell you things that would kill you. The ones who only sold to people that they knew could handle it. You know, the way things used to be when I was growing up. It was better. There was a black kid on TV when I was a kid, and everybody loved him, and everybody loved that show. And they all thought it was great. Nowadays, I mean, everybody's like, no, we can't like black people. Stop going backwards. Straight up. The 90s proved that we're not fucking racist. The 90s proved that gays don't matter. The 90s proved all this shit. Shut your fucking mouth. We're 30 years out from that. Get the fuck over yourself. Get rid of fucking meth and get your ass to fucking space so I don't fucking attack you soon. I'm sick and tired of this. You get to space or you start exploring the ocean. One of the two. There needs to be an advancement in humanity fucking now. Something. Oh, no. Sorry, you gotta smoke your bathtub fucking drug and fucking run around and pretend we've already done it. Or the demons are out to get to you. You have the Nostradamus kind of conspiracy shit, too, that people come up with. And I wonder if those people do meth. I wonder. They might be right, they might not be right. You never know. At least that's entertaining. You know, they create movies and shit like Zeitgeist or whatever, and you can sit back and you can watch the damn thing and be like, oh, you were into that. Or you can believe it or not or whatever, you know what I mean? But at least it's a movie. Meth heads don't have a movie or any script or any sense to be made. They just fucking roam around. And you can tell. If they're jonesing for it, they're hunched over and walking like they're a cripple. And they're not a cripple. They're jonesing for that drug, and that's what it does to your fucking body. Stop doing shit drugs. By the way, I will be creating more Reeferman issues, or releasing more Return to Reeferland. And I will be promoting these ideas and pushing this through this, what these drugs do to you, so that kids stand a fucking chance of understanding the thing and not just being on the damn thing without any choice and fucking their mind before there's a chance, right? You're kind of raping our kids. Find the meth dealers and get rid of them. Bring back ecstasy, or I'm going to start getting be a prick. Because if people start doing ecstasy again, they're going to dance around and fuck. And that's what they're supposed to do. They're supposed to dance around and have sex and have a good time, you know? You can do that on alcohol too. Or without any of that. But I mean, that's what they were supposed to be doing. Not whatever the fuck this is. Christ. Anyways, love yous, take care, don't do meth. And if you do meth, and you're anywhere fucking around me, don't pretend I'm going to be nice to you. In my eyes, you're a fucking cancer on my society. And I hate you. With a passion. Drop those fucking drugs now. Stop calling those drugs and insulting people like me who did do drugs, the real ones, and expanded their mind and did cool shit with it. Now, I mean, it's fucked, but my crazy acid Rorschachs and my comics and things are a hell of a lot better than roaming around at a hotel in the middle of the night and telling everybody a bullshit story in your fucking head and then trying to justify pedophilia. Get rid of that drug. It's fucking poison. I want it off my land now. I will attack you physically if you are doing meth around me. If I see you with that drug or I see you on that drug, I will attack you physically, verbally, and any other way. And I will make your life an ever-living hell like I did the fentanyl guy. Something's got to change. There has to be something done about this. And this is what I've got.